Welcome aboard our virtual cruise around the eastern Indonesian archipelago. Today we'll be sailing in an area known as the Coral Triangle, the heart of all marine biodiversity in the world. We'll be sailing on UNESCO World Heritage sailing vessels known as pinnaces. Let's begin with a look at how these amazing vessels are built. First, the keel is blessed with a stain of blood from a black and white chicken. The planks and frames are made from ironwood, which can only be bent under fire and pulleys. The molded planks are set end to end and follow the shape of a series of temporary wooden templates. The joints are sealed with the bark of a special palm tree, which is pounded between the planks. The bark expands when wet, keeping her afloat. The planks are blind edge fastened with a series of wooden dowels called pasak. The frames are added after the planks are set. The Bugis are from southern Sulawesi, the cultural center of this century-old boat-building tradition. Their knowledge is passed from generation to generation. This is how Ombak Putih and Katerina were built, our vessels on your virtual adventure. Let's meet the team. The crew of Ombak Putih and Katerina come from all over the Indonesian archipelago and keep the boats shipshape. Meet your super tour leaders and international experts. Keep in mind, if you have questions after your virtual tour, send us an email and we'll get back to you with an answer from one of our tour leaders or experts. Let's meet Joe. He's a specialist in marine biology, ecology, and ornithology. If you have no idea what that lump on the bottom of the sea is, just ask Joe. His encyclopedic knowledge will amaze you. Jeffrey can tell you all about pinnaces. He's an expert in maritime history and Indonesian history. He's full of knowledge about the Spice Islands and beyond. Angela and Ray Hale are experts on spiders and other crawling wonders. They're passionate about endangered species and would love to share the natural world with you. Dr. Keys, a 30-year resident of Indonesia, is passionate about birding and has discovered many locations where you can view them. He also loves to talk about Indonesian history. If you're into textiles, you'll want to jump on board with Sue and David Richardson. They're experts on Indonesian textiles and understand the art of natural dyes and weaving unique to the islands. Want to know about Wallace? Dr. George Beccoloni is undoubtedly the world's leading expert. He loves to share this knowledge and will take you on a journey in search of Wallace's named species. So let's get started and immerse yourself in pleasure through experience. Are you ready to enter another world? The world below the surface? All you need is a mask, snorkel, and fins. No tanks are needed. Snorkeling is my all-time favorite thing to do, and the Coral Triangle is my favorite place to do it. I hope by the end of your virtual cruise, you will want to try it in real life. Come on, let's swim into the middle of a school of fish and just watch them swirling around. And check out this flatworm swimming and how a crinoid moves through the water. One of my favorite invertebrates are sea slugs or nudibranchs. They're just gorgeous and are some of the jewels of Raja Ampat and the Coral Triangle. And with over 1,000 different species, it's a never-ending treasure hunt. Let's check out some corals. The Coral Triangle has 76% of all known coral species in the world. That's over 600 different types of corals. and they're still discovering more. Corals have a unique symbiotic relationship with algae that live inside their bodies called zooxanthellae, which produces 90% of their food. Soft corals have 8 tentacles per polyp, and hard corals have 6 or multiples of 6. The other 10% of the coral's food comes from the plankton they catch with their tentacles, which mostly happens at night. These algae inside their bodies are responsible for the colors within the coral reef. Through your mask, you have just discovered a window into what lies below the surface within the coral triangle. There's time to share our stories over a cold drink, and in the evenings, there are educational talks that help us understand some of the many mysteries that lie below the surface. And before you know it, it's time to do it again. In this rich, biodiverse world, I'm still amazed that after 12 years of snorkeling in Indonesia, I still see something new every single snorkel. Let's check out some fish. There are over 2,000 species of reef fish in the Coral Triangle. Let me introduce you to just a few. Did you know there are a dozen different kinds of anemone fish? And the one that most looks like Nemo is actually named the false anemone fish. Mandarin fish are some of the most beautiful fish in the world and only appear at dusk to do a dance to impress their mate. Humphead parrotfish use their heads and beaks to munch on hard corals, digesting the algae that lives inside, and pooping out calcium carbonate that provides the sand on beaches. Let's check out one of my favorite places, a landlocked, stingless jellyfish lake. We can't wear fins or sunscreen when entering. We just move slowly so not to harm these fragile bodies. Trapped within the lake for many years, possibly thousands, these jellies have evolved from hunters to farmers. And they are expert farmers growing algae inside their bodies, also a symbiotic relationship with zooxanthellae, much like coral. The edges of the lake are equally fascinating, full of sponges, brittle stars, and tube worms. Jump in and pretend like you're a log floating on the surface as they fly beneath you, gentle birds of the sea. It may seem as though they're coming right at you, but just relax. They will swim below. Their tails do not have stingers like their cousin Ray. No need to touch them. We just watch. Here's another plankton feeder, the whale shark. And even though they eat plankton like whales, they're actually the largest fish in the sea. They can get up to 40 feet or 12 meters and can live for 70 to 100 years. There's a pretty good chance you'll see at least one of the 6 species of sea turtles that live within the Coral Triangle on your adventure. Sharks are a welcome sight within the protected waters of the Coral Triangle. These apex predators help maintain the balance that keep the reefs and ocean healthy. It's always so exciting when you can see a wobbegong shark, especially when it's swimming right toward you. Absolutely gorgeous shark. On the way to the cave, we come across petroglyphs that are approximately 5,000 years old. Here's another experience. How about swimming through a cave? When you swim through and your eyes adjust, you can see the giant stalactites hanging from the ceiling. Are you waterlogged enough? Maybe it's time for a few land excursions. Natural bubbles.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Komodo dragons are one of the wonders of nature and the largest lizard in the world. They feed on deer, wild boar, monkeys, and even water buffalo, which they kill with a highly venomous bite and wait for the animal to die. Dragons can smell a dead animal for up to 11 kilometers or 7 miles away with their forked tongue. A dragon can consume up to 80% of their body weight in a feeding and eat on average once a month. The Spice Islands are rich in history, from the trade of nutmeg, or climb to the top of Gunung Api, or Fire Mountain. Let's hire a local guide and see the birds of paradise within their natural habitat. Your visit can help in the preservation of these amazing birds. It's great to team up with organizations like Tasi Koki, who are dedicated in rehabilitating animals that have been rescued from illegal wild animal trade. You can even help to hide food inside branches for sun bears, or visit the site where orangutans are released back into the wild. We seek remote locations, and when we arrive, we share items like water purification systems or environmental educational children's books, and provide information on organizations such as the Smile Foundation, who can treat craniofacial disorders for free to those in need in remote locations. SeaTrek is even making children's books. Our newly finished book on Wallace is in collaboration with Dr. George Beccaloni. And stay tuned for Wayu and the Dolphin Rescue, a true story about her transformation from dolphin trainer to dolphin rehabilitator. It's great to discover local heroes and share their amazing stories, like Nita and her Goggle program, Peek Below the Surface, bringing awareness to the underwater world, and Gayatri with her conservation work with fishermen to save aquarium fish, and Maga, and how he's transformed the Banda Islands with his passion to reduce plastic waste and create a trash bank. Their stories are an inspiration for everyone and need to be shared. SeaTrek has teamed up with Ocean Gardener. We are learning how to grow soft and hard corals and started a coral garden in Bali, which is now thriving and creating new habitat for fish. Indonesia is full of rich and diverse cultures throughout the archipelago, and what better way to connect than through dance and music.
Mari, wadi.
Thank you for joining our virtual cruise. I hope you enjoyed your trip around the Coral Triangle and look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.